Today we're taking a look at the new CS8 from LRS. This is a customer or guest or patient pager that's used effectively in this series all around the world today. It's a very powerful device that offers many features that are not available from competitive products or even the cheap Chinese products that are out there. You'll need to watch the entire video to learn all the facets and advantages of using an LRS pager like the CS8, because it really is revolutionary and it makes competitive products, well, frankly, look cheap. As you can see, this pager currently is sitting on a charger, and we're going to remove it from the charger in a few seconds. But one of the first things you'll notice is you get this occasional flash, if you'll see it. That confirms that the pager's on charge, because these can stack up to 15 units high on one charger, so you have a very small footprint. And when you're in a restaurant or pub or bar or maybe a bowling alley, you know, the size of the footprint on your desk matters. There's not always much space available. Now you'll notice on this CS8 pager that there are 4 charging pins, and that's so that you can put a second pager on charge above the one that's already there. Now you'll find that this one too will flash, like so, just to confirm that that one's also on charge. It's very important to be able to know that they're being charged other than just fitting them on some charger. And I can take this off and put it any way round, and this pager will still charge. Now that doesn't sound important. Well, it doesn't until you are effectively under a lot of pressure working and you haven't got time to stand there lining pages up like some equipment does. The reason that is that on our system, all 4 of these charging pins are able to charge the pager no matter which way round the page is fitted. And that's a unique feature for LRS. So what I'd like to do is to show you all the other features of this pager, and they're features that aren't obvious unless someone tells you about these features. They are actually very, very important for the operation of the equipment, and they make all the other equipment out there that you might consider, well, to be honest, obsolete and old. Let me remove this one from its charge and let's see what this one presents us with. As you can see, multi-colours, but the colours are selectable, and more about that in a few moments. So let's discuss some of these extra features that you won't find on any competitive product. Well, firstly, you'll notice on the side of the pager there's this massive, very strong rubber bumper, and LRS has determined that when these pagers are dropped on the ground, or they fall, or they get knocked off, or whatever, typically they land like this, or like this. So this rubber bumper becomes hypercritical, and it's hypercritical on every pager out there. But the thing is, the LRS pager has the strongest rubber bumper on any pager that you can find, and that is to protect your investment in this product. Another thing that's not often discussed is the actual plastics. The plastics are very important on any pager, but hyper important on any pager that's given to customers and can be dropped on the floor. This plastic is a stronger plastic than you'll find in, well, virtually any of the other pages out there. This has been re-evaluated and reworked so that this plastic, frankly, will protect your pager really better than any other pager that you can buy. Now you'll notice that on the front of this pager there is actually a number, and while it looks like it's flashing terribly on the video that you're watching, in reality it's rock steady, and that's purely a feature of how it's filmed. You can't really get around that. But this is actually the pager number. Well, as you can see, you can have 9,999 numbers, so I don't think you're going to run out of, you know, the capacity anytime soon. Yeah, amazing. And there are other features for these numbers that might come into play at some stage, but we'll talk about them some other time. Now, one of the great features about the CS8, CS7 and CS6 series is that you can have a label on the front, just like this one. As you can see, it can be anything basically, but on the CS8, like this CS8, you can see there's a little clip there. We can easily remove this front cover and put in either a different advertisement if you've got some promotion on, or a different branding. So let's take a look around the back of this page, because there are things on the back that are just as important as the things on the front. Here we go. You'll notice on this unit, brand new unit out of stock, that it has the company name on, FCC ID, and all these other certifications that are very important. If you're buying pages that don't actually have these, or even worse, if they do have them but there is no documentation, so they were never really tested properly, then the local trading standards, if somebody reports you, which they can, they'll come and confiscate the equipment because it would be illegal. In our case, we have WEEE, we have CE approval, and we have a UK CA, as well as this little triangle with a circle. That's ROSH compliant. What that means is there's no dangerous leads within the solder and components that we use, and that's important when you're looking after the environment as we do. Now there is another feature, and you'll notice a little window here. This little window allows the pager below to communicate with the pager above. So when these are stacked up, every pager on the stack, all 15 of them, know the situation of charge and all the other sort of things that, well, sometimes are a bit technical, but that's why that's there. It's not there for no reason. You won't find it on any other pages that I know of. Now what I do want to do is just run you through what's inside. I'm not going to be technical particularly, just a few seconds just to show you, so don't get frightened or bored about this. I think it's important you know what you're buying. As you can see, this is a lithium-ion battery. The lithium-ion batteries are particularly good at holding power for a long time, for a quick charge, and for no real problems or issues that you might have with some other types of batteries. Very important. You can also see in here that actually there aren't many components, and that's really hypercritical. You've got the little motor at the top that makes the thing vibrate. You've got a chip there. You've got a regulator type of thing here. A few little chips and bits and bobs. I bet you there isn't 20 in the whole device. Now you might say, well, oh, they must be very cheap. Well, in reality, the less components you've got and the higher technology makes the product more of a leading edge rather than a trailing edge type of product that's really applied into all of the bottom end type of pages. Because there are only a few components on here, there are only a few components that could possibly fail. And it's one reason why we give a 3-year warranty on all of our CS6, CS7 and CS8 pages out there. We stand by our products because our products are really, really good. I just wanted to show you that. And the last thing I want to show you, just as a matter of course, you can see that this is made by Long Range Solutions, which is a new name of Long Range Systems. Long Range Solutions, we're still LRS, we're still basically the same. And it's designed in the USA. Well, it's made in the Far East. It's made in the Far East under Western management. That's how I describe it. You know, you've heard of Apple, haven't you? Well, they do basically the same sort of thing. So there it is, very powerful device. I wanted to really get this across to you and show you the quality that you're buying. As I've said, this pager is actually multicolored. And on first thought, you might think that, well, what use is that? Nobody else has got that. Well, that's exactly right. Nobody else does have that. And I'm going to explain to you why this is so important and why it could easily be a revolution in customer or guest or patient paging, or for that matter, logistics and warehousing in all the pages that we have that are also colour. Okay, well, talking about pages is one thing, but you do actually need a transmitter. Now, this transmitter is a brand new transmitter from LRS. And this is called a 9561 CT. And there are a few things that are different about this than some of the earlier 9561s that we have available. Okay, well, what we've got here now is the 9561 MT, which is a non-colour supported product or transmitter. You can see down here that we've got a number of messages. In fact, there are 6 messages that you can send, and they're variable. You can see on this CT model, there's a 10-second, a 20 or 40-second, 30-second, 5 minutes, and others. Let's not worry about that too much for now, because we're going to come back to this one. But internally, there is a battery, and this can support 999 pages, as indeed this one can too. So there's nothing lost in that area. And there's nothing lost in the power either. And the power is a real critical area for these types of transmitters. And these are 1/2 a watt output, which means that they'll usually do about 1/4 of a mile in open air. Now, as you come indoors, you might find that the range will reduce, and that's because of the walls and the building and the rest of it. But don't worry too much about that, because we do actually have signal boost repeaters for all LRS products. There is an internal battery on both of these, but you can see clearly on this newer unit, this 9561 CT, that the whole bottom end of the transmitter has been changed. I'm going to move this one out of the way because we've got other videos showing you the 9561 MT elsewhere on YouTube. So let's concentrate on the brand new product. So we've talked about the range, we've talked about some messaging, and there is other messaging available, but I'm not too worried about any of that for now. What I do want to concentrate on is this down at the bottom. When you're using the CS7 and CS8 customer pages or patient pages, or pages really for truck drivers and things like that, you can use it for so many different things. So we're able to send a different coloured message. Totally unique for LRS. No other company has that ability. Let me show you in action. So let's imagine we're going to give a pager to a customer. Well, when you take it off charge, you'll notice that it'll do this sort of thing. Let's move that out of the way. And that just confirms really that the pager's charged and operational. You can see it's pager number 1 if you look carefully. Don't worry about the flashing, it's just the way it's recording. And the customer now wander off around the building, or go and sit down, or be in the beer garden, or in a hospital situation. They can go down the cafe and have a cup of coffee or something while they're waiting to see a specialist, for example. So let's now message the customer. We'll say a 10-second, and it's page number 1. And I think we'll send a purple. As you can see, there's the purple. There's the 10-second messaging. Now, the customer might come back at that, but you can set these things up in different ways with different transmitters, so that you could almost use a method of notifying the customer how long they've got to wait. And none of the other pages do that in the marketplace, so let's discuss that for a few seconds. Now imagine you'd be able to set the system up so you've got a red, an amber and a green, almost like traffic lights. Well, one of the problems with every paging system is that the customer's never notified how long they've got to wait. So you could set it up, not necessarily with this one, but hear me out. You could set it up so that when it flashes, it might flash every 30 seconds in red, just one flash, boom, every 30 seconds. And you might have something on your label on the front here that says red, wait, stop. And then you might, 5 minutes just before the meal's ready, or whatever the service is ready, you might send an amber that flashes every 15 seconds. You know, like traffic lights. Hey, get ready. And when the meal's ready or whatever, you might say, okay, here's green. Come and get it. We're ready to go. You won't see that demonstrated at all anywhere. Okay, well, I'm not going to go into any great depth any further, other than to say that this colour messaging is far more important than you might first think. You know, it doesn't sound important. When you're notifying the customer that, hey, you've got 5 minutes to go, listen, that changes everything. Okay, here's a very quick introduction to the pager, the CS8 text alphanumeric messaging pager. You can see that it's very similar to the standard CS8, but it has a screen, and that's currently showing you that it's pager 99. It's full color like our CS8, and it has exactly the same internals except for the screen, clearly a bit of different firmware and maybe the odd little bit of extra chips. But apart from that, it's the same device, and the advantages of it are that you can use those different colors if you need them, but you can also send a message. So you know, if we were to send a message to it right now, you'll see what happens. It'll flash, vibe, and do all the things that they should. There we are, table ready in this case, but it could be go to basics, or it could be return to the breast clinic, or whatever you need it to be. And that was a short page, but you can make it last for a long time. You can change the colour, all those things that we've been talking about. And remember that those colours are not available anywhere else in the way that we're showing you. There will be a separate video regarding the CS8 text alphanumeric messaging pager and trucks. Okay, well, I want to round off by having a quick look at the back of this transmitter and, you know, some of the features and benefits of buying LRS as opposed to buying either cheaper product or products that are inferior in some way because they don't do this or they don't do that. So let's have a look at the side of the transmitter first. As you can see, there's a power point here, and you can put our power supply in there to charge the internal batteries. Now this can come with internal batteries or no internal batteries, depending on what you want, and you'll save a little bit of money if you don't have batteries, or pay a little bit extra if you do. But on the other side is another connector, and you can run other equipment from a cable from this to other things, maybe LRS chargers or other transmitters or whatever. But it's like a sort of chain effect, an input and an output. And you could reverse that. You could have this as an input and that as an output. Always important. Now around the back, just as important, we have the frequency we operate at. This is a prototype. It's not for sale, clearly. And there's been one or two changes and mods and all that sort of thing going on, which always happens on prototypes because it is a brand new product using the latest technology. You can see it's still LRS. We've got all the various criteria for certification: ROSH compliance, CE approval, UKCA, WEEE for compliance when you're disposing of the product, all of that sort of thing. And all those approvals, so important. They protect you in the respect that you are getting a product that is entirely safe and has been tested almost to destruction. You won't find that on cheap pages because they often just put similar sort of logos on and have never had the equipment tested. The case itself is very, very strong material, Lexan type of material. It makes the unit, the 9561 CT, a very robust device indeed. But of course, a quality transmitter like this and the pages that we have all come with a 3-year guarantee. Yes, we stand by the products for a whole 3 years. Lastly, I do want to emphasize why these colours are important. If you think of a large company, what's the most important asset that they own? The most important asset they own is their company name and their branding. So for example, if you were Green King, imagine being Green King. You wanted green pages as part of your branding, which it may well be or may not be, but let's assume it is for now. Now you can have it. You can have a green pager for Green King. And if you're a pub called the Blue Boar, yeah, you're right, you can have a blue pager when it flashes for the Blue Boar. So when a customer sees a blue for Blue Boar or a green for Green King, you can be sure that does actually register the branding in the customer's mind. So this equipment is only just becoming available for 2025, and I recommend that you really do take a close look at this sort of equipment, because it is set to revolutionise the paging industry far further than where it's at ending in 2024. There are lots of features that I haven't shown you, and I won't show you because our competitors come along and like to have a look at what we're doing. And the best thing you could do, if you haven't any interest in this at all, just give us a call on 01782 53 7000, or you could visit us on the internet at lrspagers.co.uk. Thanks for your time today, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon. Oh, and by the way, if you want a free trial, just give us a call.